Hi, this is Rod with Portraits by Rod. I'm going to take you through the process of what it's like with the mastering process for real estate, landscape, and architectural photography. This is basically how we take the original image straight out of the camera and turn it into something that a client would be proud of. So we're going to start with an interior image. So this is one exposure, and you can see we have to really expose for the brightest part of the image, which is the sky. So in this case, we've exposed for that, very dark inside. This is not an image you'd ever want to use because of the way it appears straight out of camera. So we have to do something to make this really work and really pop. So because we're shooting this as a raw image, we have a lot of data that we can work with. So when we go through the mastering process, we're able to bring up the highlights. We're able to adjust for color. We're able to really show what's going on in the interior as well as the exterior of the building. And even though this was only one exposure, we still got a pretty decent result. Now, a lot of times what we really want to do in cases like this is take multiple exposures. So let's take a look at an exterior example. But before we do that, I want to show you the black and white conversion process. So the black and white conversion process, if we do a simple black and white conversion, this is typically what happens. It's not bad, but it could be better. So when we go through a separate mastering of the black and white image, we end up with something more like this. We have more contrast, we have darker blacks, we have a greater shade, a greater range of gray in the image, and it really makes an image that's much more attractive to the eye. So that's the mastering of the black and white image. So now let's go to the outside image. This is an exterior image of Phoenix Mills directly out of the camera. So this is what you get. You can see the perspective's a little off here. The light posts are a little crooked. That's what the camera does. It basically takes the perspective you're shooting from and it adjusts that. And you can see it was a cloudy day. Got a lot of dark areas. We've exposed properly for the light, but really this is a terrible image. You would never want to use this. So what we do to make this really work is we take multiple exposures of the same image and then blend them together, and then we go through the mastering process. So this is what we get. We end up, you can see the building, you can see the details in the building. We've adjusted the grass so that it's even, and we've adjusted the sky in this particular instance. Now sometimes we don't replace the sky. In this particular instance, we've added what I would call a twilight sky. And the reason for that is that because the sun was not out, you don't have harsh shadows on the ground. If I were to put a bright blue sky up here, it really wouldn't look natural or realistic because if that were the case, there would be some harsh shadows, but there really aren't. So we do a twilight sky where the sun it would be very low, and this is the type of natural look you would have if it was twilight time and this was the image that you were looking at. So you can see perspective has been adjusted. You get a really good feel for the details in the building, and everything looks it looks pretty natural. And this is the kind of image you would want to use to show off this building. Given the time of the year, I think we've done a really good job with taking this to the level we can. Obviously, this is pre-spring, if you will, so we don't have leaves on the tree. Everything's not greened up, but it just goes to show that you can really work with an image to really make it pop and make it something that's attractive to the viewer, regardless of the time of year. So I hope you've enjoyed this. It's been a little bit of an overview of what happens when we go through the process. Happy to answer any questions you have. Feel free to contact Portraits by Rod. You can reach me, Rod@portraitsbyrod.com. Thanks.